revolutionizing the way people treat people in business. The Experience Pros, America's home for positive business talk.
This is the home for America's positive business talk. We do it in 10 minutes at a time, taking you through your day, giving you a PhD in small business, just these little chunks. The reason we break it up that way is we know you're busy. We know you've got a lot on your plate. This allows you to come in and come out, get in, get out of the car, get in to a business meeting, get back on the phone, and just get that little boost of inspiration to your day. So Janice is filling in for Eric today. Janice Rendon with Janice Rendon International. You can also follow her on Instagram at Walking with Janice on Instagram. She has some incredible things going on there. And Janice, when I think about you, I think you are one of the most super powerful women that I have ever met. You have been through so much, so many changes, and you just go through life almost impenetrable. You have got this disposition, this cheery disposition that I think that when people meet you, they think, I wish I could be like that. But it just seems so far from where they are. Do people compliment you on that all the time?
Yes, exactly. My last job that I got rehired at, they said, how do you have such a great attitude after being laid off 4 times? And I said, I can't control being laid off, but I can control my attitude. And that's what we can do. So.
I was with a gal last night who she lost her husband unexpectedly just a few months ago. And she said the same thing almost verbatim. She says, you cannot control what happens to you. Mm-hmm. The only thing you have control over is your attitude.
Exactly.
Have you always been like that?
No, I worked at it. Yeah. I mean, the first time I got laid off, it wasn't easy, but you question everything. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, life is life, and there's things always going to happen. And so you just have to keep going and rolling with the punches.
You do. Well, you have been amazing. And the people that you interact with, I think you leave such a trail of positivity everywhere you go, and the disposition that you bring. Well, I found a fun little article. Konstantin Maguchitz, he talks about tapping into your superpowers. Mm-hmm. And of course, when we hear the word superpowers, what do we think? Superman and Superwoman and Batman, right? The characters from comic strips. But he says that superpowers are very human. They're very personal. They really define who we are and who we could be on our deepest level. But that most of us just don't really tap into really who we could be. And I know one of the benefits of working with you, with your clients, is when we've gone through a career transition, of course, and a forced one, right? Somebody has said, you're out for whatever reason. It was before your choice. That we can often look back at that as a blessing to finally do or finally be who we wanted to be. It's as if it's really a gift. Of course, we don't see it.
It is
as a gift at that time. How often, when you're working with your clients, Janice, do they go a completely different direction?
Well, sometimes people get stuck and they don't know how to come out of that. And so you just really have to guide them. And it's like, okay, so what do you see? And, what can take your mind off that layoff or off that transition and really start focusing on, what do I really want? This is an opportunity. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities because change is inevitable.
I had another girlfriend's story that, when we're given the opportunity, Janice, to be anything we want, and really, I mean, we all have it, but let's just say all of a sudden our job wasn't our job anymore. And maybe financially, we were even set financially. And so you don't have to go to work. You don't have to do the same thing. You don't have to live where you were living. Like nothing has to be the same anymore. Even that seems so paralyzing because we're so comfortable with what we have, where we live, who we like. All of that's familiar, even though it might not really be fulfilling.
Right.
It's familiar. And so to have the world is your oyster, I've seen that become very paralyzing for so many people, because where do you even where do you even begin to see and discover?
Well, it's kind of like your comfort, your comfort blanket is taken away from you. And it's like, I'm exposed. And so you get to, instead of have to, you get to look at, wow, that person their life looks really good. Let me try that. So let me try that. And so it's all about going out there and stepping out of, taking that comfort blanket off and just really going after something different.
Going after something different. So here are a couple of steps in this article. Step 1, and tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
Start searching for what feels different and meaningful to you. Step by step, be attentive to your inner voices. Go digging deeper as to what means a lot to you, what experiences were meaningful to you, and to find the patterns that have been driving you this far. Right? We're just really take an assessment.
It's little things. It's going to work in a different route. Because, you get stuck in this zone. You see the same thing, the same house. And so if you just make those little adjustments, going up the elevator or going up the stairs, or it's all these different, you see new people. You just open up your horizon to the world, and it just changes everything.
It is. It's just a little tweak to your perspective. This week, Janice, I kind of like you said you're putting more activity into your day, physical activity. I set a goal this week as well to put more activity. So I'm wearing my tennis shoes to the studio instead of getting all dressed up and cute. It's radio, right? So that I can do more walking. I walk up the stairs, walk further away in the parking lot and all of that, because I didn't really have walking shoes. And so that was my excuse. And my husband said, well, then change your shoes. Oh, well, that was easy, right? We get in our own way of what we want. Well, step 2, it says to put your villain voice in its place. That in superhero stories, the villain shows up without asking, right? In our moments of confusion and weakness. And the same thing holds true for our own inner critic. So we've all got our own villain voice that is stopping us.
Yes.
Who do you think you are? And what do you think you can do? And you've never done that before, right?
Tell them, stop. Shut up and keep going. Because you're right. If you keep listening to them, you're going to stay exactly where you are.
And we all have it.
Always. All of us.
It doesn't even matter really how grown up you are,
how rich you are, how famous you are.
All of that. Well, that is hour 1 of the Experience Pros radio show today. Thanks so much, Janice, for hanging out with us and for filling in for Eric today. Remember, we are empowering you to build your brand on the radio. Get your complimentary report to get even more media exposure at massivemediaexposure.com.
You're listening to the Experience Pros radio show, America's home for positive business talk. This is the Experience Pros radio